Welcome to this new episode of Film and Shows Adaptation. Today, or I should say, in the last few weeks, I did end up reading Fantastic Four, the world's greatest comic magazine, as some kind of homework for this current episode. Now, this is a compilation for the 60s, and I really liked it a lot. So let's flip it to the other side. There we go. And it's volume 1 from 1961 to 1963. And we got Doctor Doom. Hell yeah, Doctor Doom was part of the 2005 movie. That's why I was like, you know what? Let's read that book. I also read another book, which is a sequel to this. Yancey Street with the Beyonder. Someone that will show up when Galactus does. And that was kind of missing from First Steps. And we are live talking about Fantastic Four in this Fantastic Vengeance show. How are you, Matt?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm happy to be there to talk about comic and movie with you, my friend. And how you doing? I know you have a bad accident back 1 week, back from 1 week, and you survived. So I'm happy about that. So how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, considering what happened. I am slowly recovering, and I am very excited to talk about movies. Today we talk about two Fantastic Four movies. The 2015 one, I know you are a bit rusty on it, but you still have seen it, and you may have a different perspective than me. And we also talk about the new one, First Steps. And I'm excited to have that discussion. So I will let you start on Fantastic Four First Step. What did you think of that movie, Matt?
Yeah, so the thing with the Fantastic Four is that you never see a good adaptation on cinema. This is the fifth movie about them. Fantastic Four is the most iconic character from a Marvel comic book. So it's a shame that take many decades to do that. So I'm happy with this new version because for the first time you have a great movie about them, with a good story, with good character, with the concept of family between the four main hero. I like that. I think all actor was good in it. So many people are not sure about the choice for Pedro Pascal to be Reed Richard, and I love this actor, and I think he's perfect for in the role. He feel accurate from the comic. When you know the Red Richard is a mega genius. When so time to time he go too pragmatic with this thinking, and he capitalize. Pedro, he capitalize about the accident he gave the power to this family. So then in the movie we have the same mentality for the character, and I love that. And other actor was great too. I was surprised about the actor to play Johnny Storm, Joseph Quinn, an actor I like. I discovered him with the Stranger Things TV show, and he played a perfect Johnny Storm. He's not my dad. And he played a perfect Johnny Storm. When you see he's a seductor character and burn head, but in the end he is the true hero, and he not hesitate to sacrifice himself to save this friend and his family. So it's a perfect adaptation for the Johnny Storm. I love the other member of the family. Vanessa Kirby for me is for the first time a convincing Sue Storm, invisible woman, and she have all this arc which she become a mother, and she tried to protect this son. And finally you have a Ben Grimm, Ebon Moss Bachak, uh, he played Ben Grimm, the thing. I feel is the character has a is most cut from the movie. He's charming. He's a charming adaptation, but when you see the storytelling of the movie, you feel that some element of the story was cut. Like he start a romance with another character in the movie, and the romance never start really happen. So it's a little is one of my issue I have with this movie. Uh,
Well, sorry to answer this. I will actually answer it, and then after, if you want to answer it, just before continuing your review, I will say that most of the movie was okay in that aspect, but I'd say some of the dialogue, and it's a very small portion of it, got under my skin, and we will get into that. But I'd say overall the movie wasn't as woke as a lot of people would like to say and think. Any thoughts on that, Matt?
I don't feel this movie is work. Not because you use a Latino actor and you use a powerful female character in the movie that the movie is work, and the other
Sue
character
is
you have.
powerful. Sue is powerful in the comics, so she is fine to be powerful. But I will, sorry to cut you off.
And other thing some people don't like is you have a female Silver Surfer played by Julia Garner. And I feel this character she need more time to shine of the movie, but in the end, she played. This incarnation was great. It was good. You feel the emotion. You feel the purpose of the character, and but I want to see more of this character because Silver Surfer has so much potential for a story for a movie. You can see is one of the elements what cut for the movie. Some scene with the Silver Surfer was needed to be more profound, more memorable, uh,
More deep,
more
more
deep.
developed, and elaborated on.
But in the end, like I say, this version was great. You have a great Silver Surfer. Yes, he's a female version, but it makes sense because for the purpose of the story and the universe, the story take place in an alternative Earth, and it makes sense for that. And yeah, I like all the story of the movie. I feel for the first time Galactus was made well done. This introduction was so fascinating. So
Yeah.
wow.
So sorry, we will just pause here because I feel like I want to add something else because we talked about Silver Surfer for quite some time, and I want to add something on Silver Surfer and on Sue, and then I will let you continue. But what I want to say is, first of all, Silver Surfer was probably the best character in that movie. I think she was my favorite, and I feel like she had the best character arc in that movie. And just like what you said, uh, it makes sense that she is a female in that version of the movie. And I will also add this: she was far better than whatever we got in 2007. Like, as much as it was cool in 2007 to have a first live action Silver Surfer, I don't think he aged well. And I feel like that version of Silver Surfer will age well, and she will remain a very good and strong character in history. Now, the other thing I want to address, because we are still a bit into the woke aspect. A lot of people were like, but why is Sue the leader of the Fantastic Four? It's not like that in the comic. So I will have a few answers to that, and then I will let you continue. But first off, there was a run in the comics in the 60s or 70s, I can't remember exactly, but there was a time where Reed kept doing mistakes and he did really bad things. And then they were like, you know what, let's pick a new leader for the Fantastic Four. And what happened is Johnny and the team were a mess. They were not really good at being leaders. They made things worse. So what did it left us? Sue. And it was very interesting because that character arc was about Reed Richards realizing maybe Sue could be a good leader. And it was also a good part for Sue because she was learning to be a good leader. And that was a character arc for both characters. And then after that, things get back to normal, and Reed Richards was back in charge at the end of that character arc. But there was a time in the comic where Sue was in charge. Now, in this movie, I do think it makes sense that she is in charge because apparently she is the one that convinced the Moldman to make peace with the surface. And I think that diplomacy power is really good. I enjoy that
Is
aspect.
comic accurate to about air.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That aspect is it. I think it was the best part Vanessa Kirby had in that movie. Her diplomacy capacity was wonderful. I think it's the highlight of her character. Um, and I will also say this: as much as she is in charge, I feel like when it came to strategy and planning, it was very good that Reed Richard was back in charge at some at extent or aspect because he is the brain. He thinks he is the smart one, so it makes sense that he is the leader. And I feel like we had a very good balanced relationship where I feel like Sue was the face of the Fantastic Four, but the true leader is the pair. Sue and Reed are really the leaders. When it came to combat, it was Reed, and that makes sense because he's smart. And when it came to diplomacy, it was Sue, and I think that balance was perfect. That was one of the highlights of the Fantastic Four. Now, that's what I wanted to say. Sorry to cut you off. I will let you go on. If you want to continue on that, that'd be great. Or if you just want to continue your review, that's also great. So I will let you go on now.
I will say something about where you say. For me, it's not Silver Surfer the best character of the movie, but for me, it's Johnny Storm. We can debate about that, but I feel Johnny Storm was the heart of the movie, the heart of the team. But like I say, all the character work. The first time you see Galactus was an amazing scene. Sure, the end it can be. Debate how is a good fight for Galactus, but in the end, Galactus it can be beat. In the comic, the only way to stop Galactus is to make to trap him, to block him, to teleport him, to
Convince him to leave.
yeah.
That's basically what they did with the run I've read. They basically convinced Silver Surfer to be, you know what, human are worth saving, and go fight your master. And that's what happened. And the guy left.
Yeah, like I say, if again, it's comic accurate. All the movies for me is comic accurate. You take the essence for the original Fantastic Four for the 16 and the 17, with the all the retro futurist thing and the way the character are developed. And everything works. If we talk about Mole Man, is the first violent Fantastic Four fight, and he in the movie for the first time in the Fantastic Four movie, and he played by an actor I like very much, Paul Walter Hauser. Is one of the characters you feel the many of scene was cut of the final movie because you see yeah other story behind this character. Like you have another violin what cut in the movie. The violin played by I forget this name. Um, Give me a sec. I would find this name. Because in the trailer you see the character, but in the movie you do not see the character. The character played by John Malkovich. You see him in the trailer, but when you see the movie, he's not in it. He's playing a second villain for the movie, the Red Ghost. I don't know this villain, but you see you can feel that this one of my big issue with this movie is it maybe is the only issue I have really with this movie is you feel that movie has much offer behind that we can see. I feel this movie can have a director cut for a better version. The movie was great, was good story, good development of character, good universe, and the way the movie was portrayed was taken an alternative Earth, uh, give us a new fresh start for the Marvel for a new Marvel movie because many movie before this one was used the same formula again and again, and this one tried something different.
And
Uh,
if I can add something, I'm glad it's another Earth because that explained very well why they were not around in other Avengers movie and why they are the big team of superhero on that Earth. And it's also very accurate because in the comics, except some exception when there are team ups and that kind of stuff, usually they are the big savior, the big heroes. So I'm glad it's another Earth, so I will let you keep going now.
yeah. So yeah, so in the end, like I say, it's a great movie. Some people will not like the way it was done. I understand that. Is you have the same debate with the new Superman movie with by James Gunn. This is a new version with new direction, and yeah, some people will not like it. It's normal, but in the end, is a great. The way it was done, and this new Fantasy Four is the same. You have a great story, great universe, great character, great development. You have profound character with emotion, and it's not just action non-stop. I like that. I don't want to repeat myself, but like I say, it's a great movie, the best adaptation we have. And I see all the Fantasy Four movie, and I see the first not a released movie back in 1994. I see this version. You can find this version free on the internet. It's not a terrible movie, but it's a movie with not budget. So the movie is very sad to see, but you have some good idea in it. Fun fact: all the four original actors have cameo in this new version of the Fantastic Four. I like this. I like that. So right for me, is the best adaptation, and I want to see more of them for the future of the Avenger, and maybe a part two and maybe a trilogy about them. I want to see them evolve on the Prime Earth and to fight the Doctor Doom, because the next big villain will be Doctor Doom and the next Avenger. So yeah, for me it was a good execution and a good surprise, because for many years Marvel had difficulty to do great adaptation. And yeah, you have Deadpool 3 last year was a good entertainment, and I very love Thunderbolt was another great surprise for me, and now you have this one. So I feel maybe Marvel can continue. I want to that Marvel continue this way, because for so many years the formula was not working great. I feel Marvel has studied that and now try to do better, and I want to see more of that. So yeah, and you talk sorry, I'm a little tired. Is your turn, Multi? I see your opinion because you cut me many times in my review, but I want to see. I want to hear you about this movie. So tell me, you have this movie or not?
I liked it. Thank you for sharing a lot, and sorry to have cut you off so many times. Just I feel like we can have very fluid discussion on it, and I feel like a lot of people out there are not honest on that movie just because it's it's Marvel, just because it's Disney, and I just feel like we need to talk about stuff other people talk, but debunk some of it. So now, with that being said, I really like that movie. That was a very fun movie. I'd say it's my second favorite Fantastic Four movie among the ones I've seen. I've seen the 2015 one and the two in the early 2000. I didn't see the other one because it's a relic, and usually the relics I'm not the biggest fan of it. But yeah, it's my second favorite Fantastic Four. I really liked that Fantastic Four, and to give it a alternate 60s ish with lots of modern things, it felt unique. And I gotta say, that movie didn't feel like the usual Marvel movie because we really have two big action pieces, and I liked it. It felt different. Is it my favorite Marvel? No, but it was enjoyable and it felt different. And for those who complain Marvel is always the same thing, go watch that movie. It's a lie. You don't know what you're talking about. It's like saying all slashers are the same, but you got really unique slashers. It's the same thing here. Now, um, let's really dive deep into my issues and then my likes because I still have issues with that movie and I also have likes. So my first issue feels very stupid that Sue would go to space pregnant. Cosmic rays are dangerous. To top that, it endangers mother and child. It just feels off and stupid because she's in the Fantastic Four, therefore she needs to go in space with the others. I kind of get it, and the baby ended up being spoiler a big plot device, a MacGuffin. It was a big tool that Galactus wanted, and it's I get it. She is important, but it just feels so stupid and it feels off. Like they are smart people and they're like, you know what? Let's go in space with the pregnant. Like, who cares? Maybe it's dangerous. Maybe she will lose a baby in the travel, but at least she will be there with us. Um, I feel like that trip she should have been sidelined. Um, and okay, that was nice. I will admit that was nice seeing her having the baby in space. But again, I feel like the premise of them having a baby in space just feels so stupid. Um, my next issue would be lots of Sue's dialogue felt off. Here are a few examples. First, pregnant woman in space. Her rant about sacrifice when refusing to sacrifice anything. To top that, she didn't sacrifice anything prior. And that dive deep into one of my likes at some extent because Silver Surfer, spoiler again, she sacrificed herself for them. So she is really the one character that did sacrifice something. And that was kind of cool. And again, that's why I feel like that movie, the best character in it was Silver Surfer. Uh, Now, let's get into my third and last issue. Plot convenience. Galactus was shown to move very fast, yet, despite being near the moon, the people of New York had enough time to evacuate. They were evacuated faster than Galactus was moving from planet to planet to reach Earth. It's and he was moving fast because, like, one scene they're like, "Oh, he's near Jupiter," and then the next scene he's near Mars, and like it's hinted that not that much time has passed. So now he's by the moon, and within second, everyone in New York is safe and square in the underground town. It was unbelievable. Maybe I nitpick too much. I see you smiling and smirking. You
Yeah,
went crazy.
that is something I have a problem with you when you talk about plot commitment. You don't see the way the movie was made. You want just to don't you want you think too um, realistic is a comic book movie. And you can say that about all comic book movie. All comic book movie have plot commitments.
Not
There are some
not
stupid.
all.
Yeah,
Not
all
all. No.
all movie about comic book have plot commitments. You need to see that, man, because it is the thing about comic book. It's not realistic, not real,
I'm not
and
asking it to be realistic. I'm asking it to actually be decent in me not needing so much suspension of disbelief. Like, okay, within second, they can evacuate an entire town. And okay, okay, okay. Now, if they teleported everyone, that would be better than seeing them going in bus and vehicles to go like underneath the earth. I would be like, okay, that's comic book. But they physically move the city underground in seconds.
this is a comic book thing, man. For me, it's not a problem. If you say that, you say that for all my comic book movie, and that doesn't make sense for me. So you can have this opinion, but I don't want to debate with you with Aura about that. But you need to stop with that plot commitment because you say that with each movie for the few past review you have, and for me,
Well,
it doesn't make
Superman
sense.
had no issues whatsoever for me. That was a masterpiece. That thing. Just
You know,
saying.
you not say that when you talk about that the other week. So
Well, Superman 1978, I had one issue with it, but the last week's Superman, the James Gunn one, I had no issues with it. Go back at the review and you will see it by yourself. I had no issues with it. I did debunk other people's issues, but
uh,
um,
whatever. Continue. I don't want to stop you, Noah, so many times like you did to me.
sorry. Now these were my three issues with that movie. I will now mention my likes. I feel like the aesthetic was nailed. They did it so well. It really felt like a living and breathing comics, and that was great. I wasn't the biggest fan of the casting, but the costume were solid. And I think the actor overall, even if they were not maybe my choices, they did great jobs. And that's something to highlight. Now, when it comes to the Fantastic Four, I feel like the one we had in 2005, the casting was better with everyone involved in it. Um, and this new one, I think Johnny Storm was great, but his more arrogant nature was too much toned down for me. I still like the character because that's why I mention him right now. I feel like he felt the most Johnny Storm, and I feel like he is much better than Chris Evans. That's the only exception, but I like the new Human Torch. Great casting. Now Silver Surfer, great casting again. I think she was the best part of that movie. Um, the next thing I really enjoyed, Franklin being a MacGuffin was interesting. It felt like the comics because is that all powerful being in the
Yeah,
comics,
yeah.
so it makes sense. It makes sense, and I think the humor in this really felt like the comic. So maybe lots of my likes is because I've read the comic prior. So go read some Fantastic Four before watching that movie. Maybe you will enjoy it more. Um, Now, the VFX were quite good because that movie relied so much on VFX. Galactus was VFX. Maybe we had an actor wearing prosthetics, but I think most of it was special effects. I think the special effects were great from start to finish. Um, and it's been a long time a Marvel movie made me feel that way toward the VFX and the visual effects. Now we only had two big action pieces, and I think both action pieces were great. I really liked it a lot. Um, and again, Johnny Storm would speak despite the lack of material given. It looks like the comic. Um, Now, the movie was unique enough to not feel like the usual Marvel flick. There's only two true action places. Silver Surfer was all about sacrifice. She sacrificed herself for her world and Earth in the end. It was great. And I think the lore was also fun. Uh, I don't have a lot more to say. I will repeat myself. It's my second favorite Fantastic Four we got. Um, do you want to add anything else, Matt?
For me, it doesn't make sense that it's the second favorite movie for you for Fantastic Four because it's the only good movie you have about this team. So, and I see the two of the 2005 2007 so many times was about young. Each time the movie was shown on TV, I see this movie and I like this two movie, particularly the first one. But I can say that it's not a great movie. The two movie and the second one the worst, and that's
The
why we
second
don't see
one
the
was bad.
and that's why we never see the third because each time he tried to do a trilogy, each time that not working. The reboot of 2015 tried to start a trilogy, but the first one was so bad, the project was dead after that. But I can tell when I again I see so many times the original movie. for me, it not makes sense that this not this new one is not the favorite movie for you. But I can understand because the nostalgia maybe like me.
I don't even have that much nostalgia. I've seen it maybe once. Actually, no, I've seen it twice. Once when it came out in DVD, and once in the theater. But even there, I was so young, and to be honest, I barely remembered that movie. And
Maybe you need to see this movie again to change
I
your.
did see it again. I've seen it like 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Okay, that is strange, man. But I don't want to fight with you about that. But yeah, I don't have nothing to say about. We talk all we want to talk about this movie. And maybe the last thing I want to say that the first. The two post-credit scene. The first one is a little teaser for the Future Avenger. Maybe the teaser is too short for the teaser. Maybe I want to see a little more, but I understand why, because he want to save the reveal for the movie himself. So I understand that. And the second one was interesting in reference to the OG Fantastic Four from the 17, because in the 17 you have an animated TV show, and it was the same. You search that on YouTube, you understand why in the end you have this little sequence and animated Fantastic Four to reference the original animated TV show about the Fantastic Four, and I like that. Is You can see all this movie was made for the art with people love comic, and I like that about this movie. But yeah, I think we talk about I would want to talk about this movie, man.
Okay. So I will ask you, what would be your grade out of 10 for Fantastic Four First Steps?
I would give like I'd say like a 8.5 of 10. Like I said, for me, it's the best adaptation of the Fantastic Four on cinema, and everything worked pretty great. I feel that the movie need more time to shine. Maybe we'll see a director cut. I hope so, but not big hope about that, because you can feel that many story in the movie was not done well, like the romance for the thing, and the other character was cut, like I talked before. But in the end, yeah, it was a big surprise, and I'm happy to see good adaptation of the Fantastic Four, and all the cast worked perfectly. And yeah, for me, the movie deserve at least 8.5 of 10.
So I don't know if you can hear me because I froze. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
So I will give my grade 9 out of 10. I think it's my least favorite Marvel this year, but I still enjoyed it. That's a great
Least
flick.
favorite?
Yeah, I
You
liked Brave New World more. I liked Thunderbolt more as well.
Oh man.
Yeah, I like this movie a lot more.
Where is Dragon? Where is him? Yes.
I have no clue. But now. I know you're a bit rusty, so we won't spend too much time on it. But I still want to hear your thoughts on the Fantastic Four 2015. What did you think of that Fantastic Four?
So yeah, I don't have time to see this version. I wish I have time, but it's time to sometime you just have no time for that. But I remember some element about this movie. I see this movie in theater back then, because I was, like I said, I was a fan of the other movie has made about the Fantastic Four. I was young. I see this movie so many times, and I like them. So I was excited, too hyped to see this new version. And when I see this movie, I was like, it's okay. I was entertaining, and I like some element in the movie, and I like the movie was more dark. It was the thing back then. All the comic book movie was dark because of the Dark Knight and other movie like that. And Fantastic Four was the same formula for that. Now I like the version the more dark of the character, and the aesthetic of the movie, and why the power was used. I was like I like that, but the story, man, the story was so chaotic, no make sense in some moment. We have the movie was cut in two parts. After the part one, you have a jump from 1 year, I think, and you see the character have evolved 1 year later, and the story changed. Belek has great bird. Thank you, Miss Sparkle, to say that. I love my beer. And yeah, the third part it changed completely the story. The first part was a original story about the hero, and the part two was a mess. Literally, was a big mess that make no sense. And the Doctor Doom was not well done. The look was okay. The look was okay, but the way was great, and the actor would choose to do that as not charisma. And I don't believe he was a big threat for the movie. But he has some idea in the movie. I remember the scene where Reed Richards used his power to change his face. That was unique back then because you never see Reed Richards do that in the movie. But of course, because he's elastic, he can change this body, and it was a little good idea in this mess movie. But other character not make so sense for me. Michael B. Jordan has a charisma to play Johnny Storm. So many people don't love this movie, who hate this movie back then because he's a black actor to play a white iconic character from the comic, and I understand why some people was not happy about that. But the actor has a charisma to do the actor. He's play okay Human Torch. Kate Mara is an actress I like, but I feel she was not play convincing Invisible Woman. For me, she was a little better than Jessica Alba, but not much because she has a little more story to develop. She was interesting, but not much. And Jimmy Bell as the thing was vulnerable. Yes, the look was interesting. He was big and some little terrifying by moment, but he has not interesting story, and the actor was not. You can see the actor was not intense with the character, was not charming with the character. The thing is a charming character in the comic, and of course is a strong one, and he's changed. But Jim Bell not. I don't feel Jim Bell is a good explanation of the thing for me. And then it's the same for Toby Kebbell played Doctor Doom. For me, don't feel like a real treat in the movie. But
Real
I
threat.
yeah, but I understand why the movie tried to do. The director of the movie talked about this movie after the release of the movie, and he said that the result of the theatrical cut of for the cinema was not the movie he has created. The studio cut so many things he have done for the movie, and he feel betrayed by the studio. It's sad because the director just drank start this career of director. This is the second movie he have done, and after that he has done just another one movie, the biopic about Al Capone, and after that he had another other movie. That's sad. Um, I feel this director has some idea for for this team of superhero, but he have not a change to done what he want to do with that. It's a shame for me. And in the end, this movie is not memorable so far at all. I'm much fun to see the two first movie that this movie. This movie I see this movie like two time, one in the theater and one in my home when it was released online. On Video Club, I'm not sure exactly, but I don't feel the need to see this movie again. Maybe for some actor in it. I like all the actors because all actor I like Miles Taylor, Michael B. Jordan, Kate Mara, and Jimmy Bell. All actor I like, but it's not all of them not work great for the purpose of the movie. And Mike Taylor maybe he was too young to play Reed Richard. I can remember that one issue I was back then for the movie. The movie tried to do a much more younger version of the Fantastic Four, and it worked for some element, but not for all the team, the original team. So yeah, for me it was a deception. It's not a bad movie. It's okay. not good entertainment, but you can see have no, some good idea in it. And I wish the director can have this director cut, but it's too late now for that. But I read so many things about this movie after the release, and you can tell that the movie has so much potential in it. Before the studio decide to cut and to rebuild the movie himself. So yeah, that like I said, I noticed the movie so for so many years. So this all I want, all I can tell about this. For me, is the second worst adaptation. Maybe it's not. Well, you can debate this movie is worse than the second one with the Galactus.
Yeah,
Uh,
clearly. The
but
gap is not big, but it's there.
these two movies have issued have many issues. Some of similar, some are not. So you can debate about that. But for me, I think is the worst of them. And sure, the first worst is the original movie in the 1994. But this one was so a mess. Is the term to use for this movie is being mess for that, and it's sad and shame. It's sad to see that. So yeah, well, I will let you continue with that.
We
And
will we I don't have a lot more to say, but here's the thing with this show. We have a source of material segment if you have the time, right after I go into that Fantastic Four, if you don't mind, or if you don't have the time.
I'm a little short today to
Okay.
wait.
Okay,
Sorry.
well, thank you very much for joining. Next week we talk about Fantastic Four, the original two. If you have time to rewatch them, and if you want to join
I will
next week,
try.
next week. So, what do you have going on your end of the internet?
Like usual, I see stuff and I write about them, but in French, so not for your audience. Other than that, I work and play video game and I go to the cinema theater. I think I will take a break to theater because I go to theater each week for like the two last month, and I feel I need to take a little break about that. But maybe I will continue. I don't know. But yeah, my life is boring in the end. I just see stuff and I talk about them. But I'm happy to see here to be here and each week to talk about stuff with you, man.
Thank you a
Uh,
lot for joining. I enjoyed having that discussion. Fantastic Four First Step was a fun experience, and that was a fun time with you. Have a great day, and see you soon. Talk to you soon. Maybe
yeah,
next week. Maybe.
yeah, maybe next week. See you
Question
soon,
mark.
and thanks, Miss Sparkle, for the compliment about my beer. And sorry to leave you, but I need to go. So see you soon next time.
Have a
Ciao.
good one. Take care. So I guess that leaves me with that very cool background. Fantastic Four 2015 was bad. I didn't like that thing. Here are my issues. My first issue was color grading and or lighting was bad in some of the darker scenes. I don't know what was up with like the 2010s all the way up to maybe the 2018, 19. But when a movie had a darker tone, let's massacre, let's destroy the color grading or the lighting. I don't know what was up with that trend. I'm glad it's no longer like that because I cannot stand the color and the lighting in the Fantastic Four from 2015. I've only seen that movie once for this show, and I kind of regret watching that thing. That was so bad. And I strongly disagree with Matt. I think the casting was terrible. Everyone in that movie had a terrible casting. Now, I won't really hold it against the movie because usually that's not my usual issues. And I think the actors overall, they did great job with shit material. That's what happened there. So that's why I won't really hold the casting against the movie. But again, my second issue with Fantastic Four 2015 Characters were forgettable. Um, I cannot remember any character traits of anyone. And Michael B. Jordan in Human Torch, I can't even remember if the guy was arrogant. Reed Richard was the most forgettable thing, the most forgettable kid. It really got under my skin. That movie, just to watch it was a chore. So last Sunday, when I ended up watching First Step, I was so glad we got something better than that. First Step is far better than whatever we got in 2015. That's amazing. We need more of that. Now, my third issue with Fantastic Four from 2015. Despite being depicted as smart, the characters do stupid crap like touching unknown substance. It's like peak stupidity. It feel like something people didn't think. They didn't think. That was bad. And yeah, that's bad. Top scientists do stupid crap. Pacing was bad. It took 15 minutes to finally get the Fantastic Four. And we got them for like 40 minutes. Maybe 50 if someone pushed their luck. Didn't feel like the good Fantastic Four we deserve. Like, if you compare to First Step, or they are already the Fantastic Four, we get a bit glimpse of their backstory, how they came to be, but they are mostly the Fantastic Four for most of the movie. Even if there's not that much action, we get the family there. With the 2015, I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what they were doing. Don't get it. We barely got them. We barely got them. That was bad. Now, the fifth issue, the villains were weak. Like most of the characters, they were bad. So I don't know what they were thinking. That's the thing I said the most about the 2015 movie. What happened there? I I think we could get a great interview with the people in charge involved with that movie just to understand why they made it. I think a discussion about how that movie came to be would be far more interesting than what we got from that movie. Now, I dunk on it so much. I only have one more issue. The father figure Death tried hard to be sad, but it failed doing so. Because again, that goes back to bad characters. Now, I think that movie is bad, but there's still a few redeemable qualities, a few aspects where you're like, you know what? It wasn't all gloomy and bad. It is a bad movie, but there's still a few decent things about it. So let's get into it. Decent approach into making the group accept their powers, because parts of the movie was like they want to reject it. If I remember correctly, Reed Richard didn't want to be a hero, and he decided to become a hero in the end. That was kind of cool. And the team realizing they need to team up to solve issues was kind of cool. I think that movie was also competent at showing thing over telling, and that's great. We need more of that in movies in general. But again, 2015 Fantastic Four sucked really badly. Now, the lore and power were fun, the humor was decent, the experiments were entertaining, and I think Sue and Reed dynamic in that movie was fun. I think she is probably the worst Sue. I think Vanessa Kirby is better than the Sue we got in Fantastic Four 2015. But it's no Jessica Alba. Maybe I'm a sellout because I do think Jessica Alba is the perfect Sue Storm. She was amazing. Even if they played her power for jokes and laugh, they also did that with Chris Evans, Human Torch. Um, and yeah, Jessica Alba, my Sue Storm. Now, the action again was entertaining, and the humor was fun. Now, overall, the Fantastic Four 2015, I think, is a mistake. I'm glad it didn't do well. Why? Well, I maybe if that refers to Jessica Alba, well, Jessica Alba just add that vibe. Like I really felt like she was Sue Storm, and I don't know. Maybe that's like my childhood crush. Maybe that's nostalgia, as Matt said. But I just don't think any of the casting worked in the 2015 one. No one worked. The actors themselves did a decent job with terrible material, but none of them felt like the characters in the comics. And yeah, Jessica Alba, waifu, amazing. Yeah, she's odd. Exactly. Maybe that's why. Maybe I'm a sellout. But I'd say the girl in the 2015 one was the most beautiful Sue Storm in the bunch, but she was also the worst character. And yeah, um, I think that covers a lot of ground for the 2015 one. I was hoping to get a dragon out there. Looks like we won't have a dragon. Maybe if we got, we had the stream tonight. So with that being said, I will give my score to the Fantastic Four from 2015. That was a 5.5 out of 10. I despise that thing. I despise that thing. That thing was a chore to get to. But again, it's not the worst thing I've seen. It was clearly the worst Fantastic Four I've seen. Um, so now there's the special segment that makes this show unique and special. So the source of material segment. The source of material segment. So now it's the part where I talk about the comics because in this case it's the source of material for these two movies. I've read lots of Fantastic Four comics as prep time. If you want to see some, in the intro, we got two of the comics I've read. In the intro for next week, we get three other comic I've read. Fantastic Four, I do love them so much in the comics, and I think they are Punisher and them are my favorite Marvel. And I will be honest, my experience with Marvel is quite limited. I've read a lot more DC than Marvel, and I think overall I'm a lot more a DC guy than a Marvel guy. But Fantastic Four, they are fun. It's goofy, it's funny. So that's why when we get the 2000 movies, maybe that's why I like them so much because they feel as goofy as the comics. Now, let's compare the 2015 one to the comics. Terrible adaptation. Um, they wanted a darker Fantastic Four, maybe to give a different experience from the original two that we will be covering next week. But it's just not a Fantastic Four. It's not that all dark and serious and depressing thing. And I say that, and there's a lot of dark and depressing thing in First Step, but I think overall First Step still has that light-hearted tone we want from a Fantastic Four. And the light-hearted tone is not there in Fantastic Four 2015. I think the casting were all terrible. None of the characters felt like characters in the comic. Yes, of course, Reed Richard was smart in the 2015 one. That's maybe the only trait he had that was in common with the comics. And their powers. The powers of the Fantastic Four, at least they had the same. But this time around, they didn't get their power in space. That kind of bothered me. They were like, oh, let's have that retelling. They get their power through that new dimension. Not a fan. So I think overall, the 2015 Fantastic Four is an awful adaptation. It's a bad movie. It's a mistake. And I'm glad Fox lost that goddamn right. Do you like Pedro? Um, to be honest, he's fine in some movies, but I'm tired to see him in everything. Tired to see him in everything, and he doesn't feel like Reed Richards. Well, he feels a bit like it. Reed Richard is someone that's anxious, someone that's very smart and very intellectual. He is so intellectual that he struggles with the world of the outside. He is in his head a lot, and that part Pedro Pascal did it very well. But I feel like the guy from 2005 just did it better. I see the guy from 2005 is my Reed Richard. It's not Pedro. It's just not Pedro. I'm sorry for the Pedro fan out there. And again, it's not Pedro fault either. But to get back on track, the 2015 Fantastic Four. If I would give a grade just solely based on comics and that kind of stuff, my experience is limited. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy. But I'd say as an adaptation, this is like a 1 out of 10. This is an insult to the comics. It didn't capture the light-hearted nature of the comics. And even in the darker storyline of the comics, we always had that light-hearted tone. We always had that vibe of these are the Fantastic Four. These people are the best of the best. They are cool people. They are good people. They want to help. They want to be heroes. They are funny. There's hope. They're like the Superman, but Marvel. So when we see Fantastic Four 2015, it just failed miserably in capturing that. I don't care if Reed Richard in that movie is smart. He didn't feel like Reed Richard. It's like they took one aspect of the guy, they placed it on whatever the guy is, and he doesn't even look like Reed Richard. He is not even the oldest guy in the bunch. And I will give credit where credit is due in the other iteration being the 2005 one and First Steps. Pedro Pascal is the oldest guy in the bunch. And he should be. It's Reed Richard. He is the wisdom. He is the old guy. He is the smart guy. He is the big brain. So when I see him same age as his fellow castmate, it just feels off. Doctor Doom, he's not even a freaking character. He is like, I want to destroy world because that's what I do. Oh my. And I get it. Some of the comics is like that, but he has that goofy and funny aspect the 2015 movie didn't capture. It just didn't work. So I think I spoke enough. I think so far with the film and shows adaptation, I think the worst adaptation I've seen was the Fantastic Four from 2015. It's worse than Man of Steel. And I hate Man of Steel. If you want to see my Man of Steel rant and review and whatever, it's still up on the channel. Go watch it. But I think Fantastic Four 2015 just stole that place. It's the worst thing. It's not a great movie. It's a terrible Fantastic Four movie. Now, First Step. They did some change to some extent with Silver Surfer. And they also added Franklin as a MacGuffin. So, I will say Franklin wasn't part of the Galactus storyline I've read. The one I've read, I think, was like Galactus coming in the 60s or 70s. I know in the intro for next week, I got the book. You will see I've read the book. But in that book, the story was basically, we got like 3 or 4 chapters of that story. And the story is Silver Surfer scout, and he arrives on Earth, and he warns the Fantastic Four, Galactus is coming to eat your world. And then Galactus is coming. They try to fight him off with Beyonder. And in the meantime, while they try to fight him off and they realize they're not powerful enough, they're not strong enough, they they have Silver Surfer talking with Alicia. Alicia was a Grimm girlfriend, Ben Grimm girlfriend, the Teen girlfriend. And she was blind, but she has that wisdom touch. Because she is blind, she is clever and smart because that's all she has left. She doesn't see, so she needs to understand. And what happens in that Galactus story? Alicia convinces Silver Surfer every life matters. The sentient life on Earth is good. These people, they deserve a chance of living and flourishing. They are cool people. They deserve to live. Why would Galactus have the right to trample them, destroy them, and ruin them? And Silver Surfer is like, you know what? You're right. And in the meantime, we get like Johnny getting a power buff and he fights off, and Beyonder also intervenes. Beyonder is like a big being with lots of powers. And then Silver Surfer join up the fight. And even there, they are not really strong enough to beat Galactus. But Galactus is like, wait, what? You rebel against me? You fight me to save these people? Actually, you convinced me to leave. So it's like the power of talking and reaching Earths. That was the story we had in the Galactus comic I've read. And with this Fantastic Four first step, I think they captured that very well through Johnny and Silver Surfer. And maybe that's why I like so much the new Johnny Storm we got, because of these scenes he had with Silver Surfer. It was like, your world, you didn't need to let it die, but you did. Why don't you help us beating Galactus? And now, in this movie, they are obviously not strong enough to beat Galactus, so their goal, their plan is to teleport him elsewhere. So that Galactus aspect is great. I didn't feel like the characters was disrespected. I felt like I was seeing a great adaptation of that Galactus storyline. Now, as a Fantastic Four story, they are on point. Every character's has their powers the right way. And I think even if they are not as good as the one in the 2005, I think they still did very good in the roles. Vanessa Kirby is a solid Sue Storm. Is she my favorite? No, Jessica Alba got that spot. But she's cool. Franklin is OP the way he is in the comics I've read. And Reed Richard, again, he is the big brain, guy, always stressed about everything because he wants to control everything. And it's there. It's the way it is. So I think as an adaptation, this Fantastic Four First Steps is wonderful. It's one of the best adaptation we have. It's different, but it understands the source of material and it gives a very good experience. So I think Fantastic Four First Step as a Fantastic Four movie, if you just think about the source of material, it's a 10 out of 10. I think the movie itself has a few issues here and there. Again, I said my grade was a 9 out of 10. But I think as an adaptation, they did it well. Every character feels the way it should be. The design of the sets, the costume, the writing, the goofiness, the humor. We got the thing cooking and a robot helping, and these robots are fun. I think Fantastic Four, even if we have that darker story about sacrifice, about the world losing faith in the Fantastic Four, it still had that slimmer of hope. The speech Suaz about sacrifice, even if I didn't like it at all, it felt like a Fantastic Four dialogue there. And in the comics, we had several stories where people lost faith in the Fantastic Four. So again, I think it was very comic accurate. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, DC did the most Marvel movie, while Marvel did the most DC movie." I understand where they are coming from, but I feel like Thunderbolt we had in May was far more DC than this Fantastic Four there. But anyway, these are my thoughts. I think as an adaptation, it's great. I'm glad we got a great adaptation of the Fantastic Four. They were very fun. It was well made. It was a good movie, despite my gripes, despite my issues. I think it was a good movie. Now, what comes next on the Fantastic Vengeance show? Next week, Tuesday, same time, we talk about Fantastic Four, the 2005 one, my favorite. And we talk about whatever we got with Silver Surfer, not a big fan. And 2 weeks from now, we talk about Punisher. We talk about three Punisher movie, the 1989, the 2004, and Warzone. We will keep the TV show for another day once I've read the Max franchise of Punisher. And the final episode of the Fantastic Vengeance, Ghost Rider with Nicolas Cage. It will be in 3 weeks. So each week we talk about comics and adaptation. And I think Fantastic Four, as of right now, stands out. It's a great one. Go watch it. Don't listen to the haters. So, with that being said, this is the end of the show. I will have some recovery about stuff, and we will see each other next week. Thank you for watching. Have a great one.